G'day YouTube. Warbles on a lot here. Quarter to midday. I'm not in town. I'm not going to the luncheon invitation that was offered to me last night by one of my oldest friends for his birthday lunch, you know, like he's only about 85 or 86. Because I've been waiting around here all day for the bloke who told me yesterday that they were going to be here this morning to put this up and also do work on the pad for the slab for my daughter's place. And I didn't go to a funeral this morning at 10:30 because I was also waiting. But I wonder why that bloke didn't answer his boss's phone calls this morning. I wonder why. Funny thing, you can't ask a defamatory question. But I wonder if his no-show might have anything to do with having assembled these bloody window frames and screwed them into the walls, knowing that the side frames were too long for the panes and the panes would drop out. Who knows? Could it possibly be that someone who wants to get paid for putting the shed together doesn't want to show up the next day when the bloke who owns the shed might perhaps have figured out what's gone on? I don't know. Can't ask a defamatory question, but is it possible that the reason for today's no-show is because somebody figured out what they know about what they did done do there? I don't know, but this is not going up today. Not going up today. Apparently two fellas who actually fucking know what they're doing will come here on Monday and put it up before anything else happens. Because this is the priority. Not fucking about getting truckloads of fill and shit that is secondary. This is the priority so the people in the next town down the road can bring the solar gear up and put it in this shed. You can't put a 3 kilowatt per day solar system in this shed in its current state. Can you do that? Question mark, interrogative, you can't. So yeah, I'm very, very pissed off. Pissed off at the level where the particular individual cast aspersions when, you know, I handed him my worst knife, which lives on the belt of me working trousers, so that when I use it to cut grass off the brush cutter head that's not likely to be a danger to anybody, oh, blunt knife, he says. Yeah, well, I sharpened the fucking knife and then I cut myself while taking off the sticky tape that he fucking covered up his bullshit with. Chrissy pissed off. Chrissy pissed off. At the moment, Chrissy is rebuilding patience before getting in there and unscrewing the top of the panel and removing the top bit of tin and removing the top track and removing the two side bits that, okay, the factory made them the wrong length. And then I will sand them down on a belt sander upside down in a vise so I've got a flat, level, abrasive sliding surface, and I'll bring them down to the alignment marks that I have previously placed on the plastic, and then I will test fit them, then I will fine tune them, and then I will put it all back together so that when the people who know what they're doing show up on Monday, at least the windows, which come in the kit at a mere $186 per window kit. So, you know, like the fact that it's made out of plastic and it's going into steel, it would sort of mean you have to pay a bit of attention that you don't fuck it up, does it not? Now, as you can see, the idea is you assemble this while the wall is going together. And the window pieces, they go into the track and they slide, and look at that. That's why youngster, fresh from the fucking army, is he not? That's why he didn't put the windows in while the panel was on the ground, because such is the level of the assembly. Clearly, nobody ever explained that if you can't make it fit and you have to force it, then you're doing it wrong, or the parts need adjusting before final assembly. Is that not so? Would that not be a reasonable deduction? What's going to happen when an easterly wind runs into that window? What do you think? Eh? What do you think, Mr. O? I was in the army, so I naturally gravitate towards positions of leadership and authority. Really? Really? You got fucking General Erwin Rommel fantasies? Is that right? Do you understand what Colonel Klink is in terms of Erwin Rommel fantasies? Do you understand what Sergeant Schultz is to Colonel Klink? Do you understand this analogy? Go and look at some 1960s vintage TV sitcoms. It's all right to think you're General Erwin Rommel, but you should remember that he killed himself after wasting his life pledging allegiance to fuckwits. And Colonel Klink was a laughingstock, and Sergeant Schultz couldn't get it right even in the eyes of Colonel Klink. You got to understand a Stanford binary intelligence quotient curve before you try to pretend that you're on the right-hand edge of it. Is that not right? See, you can't ask a defamatory question. It's fucking interesting, isn't it, what you learn when you do some law lectures as part of your tertiary education, so you don't get sued for slander, libel and defamation of character? You would never guess, would you, who has decided to rebuild patience by tapping into the 4-pack of bourbon and coke, which was going to be presented to the successful workers after erecting my shed this afternoon. You'd never guess that, would you? I guess I better start playing with the fucking electric screwdriver and do something before I get too pissed to do accurate work. Warbles not a lot to YouTube. If you think this is a mature, wise and appropriate response to stress, then you haven't had much experience of my expectations of myself, but nonetheless, maybe you understand how I do the best I can with the fucking situation I am dealing with, and this is what I'm doing with now. Yes. Ciao.